Former President Donald Trump's all in on Caitlin Clark. Make one final call to the popular podcast, the Let's Go podcast, Belichick and Jim Gray. And he's all aboard Caitlin Clark mania. He is. He is. Comparing her, seems weird to me. Now, I'm all in on Caitlin Clark, but you can't compare her to Tiger Woods. He also says just because one athlete is a phenomenon in the WNBA, she shouldn't be paid like Steph Curry because the revenue system is entirely different. Now, understand this. Donald Trump's a true capitalist. Donald Trump is a true businessman. He understands the value of different businesses. All right? He gets it. He gets the difference. He understands the value of, hey, this business is worth this business is worth that, this many people buy tickets to this many people buy tickets to that. You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, stop. He's right. Of course he's right. Look, when you go by money and revenue generated, Donald Trump ain't wrong. Let's hear from Donald Trump talking to Bill Belichick and the great Jim Gray.
Should there be more support or supportive measures to ensure equitable pay across sports? I mean, you look at Caitlin Clark. She is driving basketball. She has higher ratings for her women's basketball in college and the WNBA than any NBA game in the past 2 years. She makes $76,000 a year. Yeah. And LeBron James and these folks, Steph Curry, making over $50 million a year. Should something be done about this?
Well, you'd like to do that, but it's a very complicated thing. You know, it's a very unusual. She's incredible, by the way. And I watch too. I think she's incredible. The shot, you know, I watched the shot go in. Well, it's like, couldn't she shoot that way in the NBA? If you want to know, just give her the ball. She is unbelievable. And it's a phenomena. It's something that is taking place, and it's unusual. You know, Tiger, when he first went out, remember those days when Tiger went out? He was, or just a great baseball player in the minor leagues, or a first-year football player. You know, you see a running back who's making like minimum, and he turns out to be a superstar. You have that, and, you know, probably there's no real weight to guard against it. It sounds unfair, but somebody agrees to a contract. Hopefully she'll keep it going, and probably will. She's going to make a lot of money.
But there shouldn't be any, in other words, there's really nothing you can do. It's just what the market will bear?
Well, yeah, it's really, you got to rely on the market. You know, you can't go in and just say, well, we're going to break this contract because this person did well. The league could probably go up and give her a bonus. You know, wouldn't kill the league if the league is doing okay. But they could, I mean, the league could really do something with it because it's, you know, it seems unfair, but you have a lot of that. I see it all the time with football and baseball and even basketball, where somebody comes in, he turns out to be 10 times better.
Yeah, well, he's right. I mean, okay, you sign a contract, but, you know, what did we document, Aaron and everybody here? We documented like $40 million, I think, Nick, that the WNBA lost. So all of a sudden, how are you going to pay her? Where's the money coming from? Like, are you going to go back to, I don't know, one of the owners, and they're going to take it out of their pocket? I don't think you can do that. See, the thing you've got going in the WNBA is this. They got to make money first. And I think they're probably on their way. Look, I don't think the WNBA is going anywhere. In fact, the ratings for the WNBA playoffs, even without Caitlin Clark, while they weren't at the same level as Caitlin Clark, you know what they did, though? They were better than they'd ever been. They were better than they had been. And you know what? That's the trickle-down effect. What was it, back 100 years ago? Ronald Reagan wanted trickle-down economics. Well, you're seeing trickle-down economics. You don't know. You're seeing trickle-down ratings. I can't say it apparently. Here's the deal. Trickle-down ratings. What does that mean? Well, when Caitlin Clark was, before Caitlin Clark, let's go this way, there was nobody interesting to watch. You sat there and you said, hey, who am I watching? So there really weren't ratings. They were okay. People watched because it was women's basketball in the summer. A lot of women watched, and they maybe knew people from their college. Notre Dame had some players in there, South Carolina, obviously. Okay, well, now here comes this mountain of ratings. I mean, this big mountain. It's up here. And even though the person perpetuating the ratings goes away, even though they're less, they're more than what was before because people found the sport, whether it was because of Angel Reese, Aja Wilson, Angel Reese. I don't know. But it was. And you got to understand that. So the WNBA is not going anywhere. And I'm going to be curious, and I think I'm going to make a prediction here. A lot of people feel like the WNBA is going to stay the same. I'm going to argue that by this time, postseason, 3 years from now, the salaries that you see now are going to be doubled. Now, I also think, talking about the market, you're going to see more of a tiered system like the NBA. The better players get the better money. You know what I'm saying? Right now, they don't have that in the NBA. Pretty much everybody, WNBA, pretty much everybody has the same deal. You're going to see that. You're not going to see that. What you're going to see is pretty much right here. Now, it's going to be tiered. Caitlin Clark, maybe Aja Wilson, she should, MVP. And, of course, Angel Reese is putting herself in that position. So you're going to see right now, you're going to see something like the NBA. And it's going to be good. But I would bet that. I would bet 3 years from now. Maybe not 2, maybe not next year, or maybe. But it ain't going away. And lastly, about what Donald Trump just said there. It made no sense. Like, Donald Trump tries really hard, and I'm voting for him. Yeah, look, make no mistake. I'm going to vote for him. I'm going to go to the poll, and I'm going to vote for him. All right. But what he just said there, I'll be honest, I'm the only one that's honest in this. Like, I've told people before, look, if Caitlin Clark, if Kamala Harris had her record and was a white middle-aged dude, you wouldn't vote for her. If Donald Trump had a better opponent, I'm not sure I would vote for him. If I heard that word salad of nothing right there from anybody other than Trump that was a really good candidate or even I wouldn't vote for him. But since it's Trump, I'm going to vote for him. Do you see what I'm saying here? I've said this to many people, and most agree. Even family men, like, look, if Kamala Harris was a middle-aged white dude, first, she would not even be up for election. I mean, I don't think that's a stretch. But second, you know what? You wouldn't vote for her. If I heard that word salad from any other candidate, I wouldn't vote for him. If there was an alternate candidate that's any good. Seriously. Hey, Nick, can we play what he said again? Listen to what this guy said. I always say this. If we put this, or Dylan, can we play it again? If we put this on a transcript and we wrote out what he said in answer to the question, what the hell was this answer? Let's hear it, Nick or Dylan.
Should there be more support or supportive measures to ensure equitable pay across sports? I mean, you look at Caitlin Clark. She is driving basketball. She has higher ratings for her women's basketball in college and the WNBA than any NBA game in the past 2 years. She makes $76,000 a year. Yeah. And LeBron James and these folks, Steph Curry, making over $50 million a year. Should something be done about this?
Well, you'd like to do that, but it's a very complicated thing. You know, it's a very unusual. She's incredible, by the way. And I watch too. I think she's incredible. The shot, you know, I watched the shot go in. Well, it's like, couldn't she shoot that way in the NBA? If you want to just give her the ball. She is unbelievable. And it's a phenomena. It's something that is taking place, and it's unusual. You know, Tiger, when he first went out, remember those days when Tiger went out? He was, or just a great baseball player in the minor leagues, or a first-year football player. You know, you see a running back who's making like minimum, and he turns out to be a superstar. You have that, and you know, probably there's no real weight to guard against it. It sounds unfair, but somebody agrees to a contract. Hopefully, she'll keep it going, and probably will. She's going to make a lot of money.
But there shouldn't be any. In other words, there's really nothing you can do. It's just what the market will bear.
Well, yeah, it's really, you got to rely on the market. You can't go in and just say, well, we're going to break this contract because this person did well. The league could probably go up and give her a bonus. Wouldn't kill the league if the league is doing okay. But they could. I mean, the league could really do something with it because it seems unfair. But you have a lot of that. I see it all the time with football and baseball and even basketball, where somebody comes in, he turns out to be 10 times better.
All right, Nick, let me ask you a question. Are you there, Nick? Let me ask you a question. What the hell did he say right there? Hey, what did he say?
I think he's just trying to say that if, they can't just give Caitlyn a lot of money just because she's a superstar.
I know that,
really
but what did he say? I know what he's trying to say, but what did he say? He didn't say nothing. And I'm a Trump guy.
No, I think I'm on the same page as you. It's just really hard trying to decrypt and decode everything that he said.
He didn't say nothing.
Well, he weaves. That's what he does. He likes to weave, and
I know, but if I were saying to you, what did he say there, you would have to do what you just did. Well, I think what he's trying to say is this.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's exactly what happened.
I know. Yeah. The insufferable blogger boy website, Awful Announcing, is mad. They got a bone to pick with Aaron Rodgers. Now, we all know they don't like Aaron Rodgers, and maybe rightfully so. I mean, let's be honest. Aaron Rodgers can't give you a headache, certainly. Aaron Rodgers will give you a headache. He will give you a headache 99.9% of the time. And he's back now. They had a win, and he's back, and he's doing his stuff where he's now a politician. All right. They seemed all hot and bothered, Awful Announcing did, over the latest appearance on the Pat McAfee show. After finally winning a game, Aaron Rodgers was back to spewing conspiracy theories about FEMA and criticizing Ukraine aid in an interview with Pat McAfee. Here's Aaron Rodgers.
I just want to clear up one comment that I made, because there is a large Ukrainian flag that flies at One Jets Drive. I don't have a problem with Ukraine at all. I just think that there's a lot of problems in the United States that $180 billion could maybe help instead of fighting a proxy war. That's my only.
Well said.
Yeah, just tie that one up.
Smart to circle back.
Like natural disasters, and there's FEMA is confiscating bottles of water and food supplies from people trying to help. Like, maybe let's help those people out. Obviously, FEMA doesn't have the best record if you go back to 2005 and Katrina.
Okay.
But I think there's a lot of problems in the States and people hurting that, could use more than, I don't know, would they just give out $600, $700? Come on, what are we doing?
750. And also you go back to Hawaii, see what happened there with
Hawaii, exactly. Hawaii.
Yeah. We all agree.
Yeah.
I think everybody with a sane mind agrees. Understand that the United States of America have to look out for people and everything like that, but we got to look out for our people too whenever shit happens.
Yeah, they're mad at McAfee because McAfee, who has openly mocked any sense of journalistic responsibility, as a mainstream media host pushed forward, the PMS crew tried to bait Rodgers all segment, cloaking their nods to the election by calling it the NFL trade deadline day, which is great. At one point, expert Rodgers, troll Boston Connor, directly asked the quarterback who he would vote for. Rodgers ignored the question. If you don't know what to do on trade deadline, you should ask your favorite celebrity. My favorite celebrity is Nick. Nick, you're my favorite celebrity. Does Aaron Rodgers bother you?
No, not at all. I think what he does on Pat McAfee is absolutely hysterical. He gives his spiel on whatever football news of the day is, how he performed during the game, then he talks his shit. I'm totally okay with it. If that's not if anyone's got a problem with that, that's their own problem.
All right. I agree. I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers is on there, and he's paid to be on there, and you know what? God bless him. Good for Aaron Rodgers. I don't know where McAfee has ever said he's a journalist. McAfee's an entertainer, much like what we got going here. These guys get all hot in the crotch. Now, let's be honest, we all know this. If Rodgers and others had spewed the liberal nonsense, they would be all aflutter. Their hearts would be bursting out of their chest. They would be all excited. Yay, Rob, go fight, win, do more, do more. I mean, they want and have crowned Steve Kerr king of the world. Popovich, smartest man going. Steph Curry, how brave. You know what I'm saying? Oh, just stop. Just stop. We all know. And look, today, whichever way this goes, we'll figure it out. That's the way I look at it. Look, I hope Trump wins, but we'll figure it out either way. We'll see. Should be a good day. I am going to do this the last, Nick, but I want to put it in here now since we're a little bit talking political. Are you going to sit around and watch all day election results, or are you going to keep your mind occupied on other things, Nick?
So it's going to be a little bit of both. So I think the first polls close at 6, and that's around the same time I'm leaving for my softball game. But the problem is all my teammates were all very like-minded individuals. So we're going to be having a watch party, more than likely in the dugout while we play. And then when we get off the field,
that's unbelievable.
So when we get off the field and we go back to the dugout, we'll see who won each state. And then it's just going to be a revolving door until the game ends. And then once I get home, I'm watching Fox all night long.
I asked Gary, our boss, I said, what are you going to do? He said, I'll be at Fox most of the night, late, until we know or no, we won't know. That's pretty clever. Yeah, I don't know. Aaron, what are you doing? Aaron's in there. I don't think I can sit and watch all day. Like what Gary just said, until we know or until we know we don't know. That's the interesting part. Until we know or, it used to be, and I don't really get this really. I don't really get, we used to know, like, there was a time, and I think Gary and Aaron will remember this time, there was a time where they had to, in many states, not give the results because some polls were still open. You know what I mean? It was weird. Now, until we know or until we don't know, and it's going to be fascinating, but, man, I want to go to Kid Rock's. See, this is what I'm talking about. The boys and gals of OutKick are headed to Kid Rock's. Clay's going to be there. What's the show that's going to be there? Fox Nation's going to be there. Now, that's a good time for me. Yeah. Fox Nation and Clay. My guy Aaron says I'm watching every second on Fox Nation. Man. All right. My other guy, Gary, says take a Valium and nut up. We win either way. I know. I'm going to go, I don't know, play 9 holes with my wife, I think, just to get out of the house till 5, sit around. I'll turn that Fox on, but damn, I don't know. I feel like I've done my job in this election. Anyway, Philadelphia host criticizes Jason Kelce. And by the way, Jason Kelce kind of, sort of, maybe apologized last night. And he apologized for taking the kid's phone and smashing it. Hey, he did more for that kid than any of his parents ever did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, what happened was a kid was calling Jason Kelce's brother, Travis, a very, very awful, my opinion, gay slur. Kelce got tired of it, grabbed the phone, slammed it down, and away we went. Well, yesterday, as he was hosting on set before Monday Night Football, Kelce issued a mea culpa. I should have been better, blah, 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 blah. There's no reason to apologize. If the guy's father isn't going to do things, then you should. That's right. Celebrities have an obligation to raise other children. I can't even say that with a straight face. Jason Kelce, you go. No, seriously, you go. Well, Philadelphia radio hosts aren't happy about it, and frankly, they're probably right. Here's what a radio host in Philadelphia said. Jason Kelce has to realize that his profile is bigger than it ever was as a player. He's making big money across the board. This is John Marks, across multiple platforms. His brother might marry the biggest pop star ever. Can't be spiking people's phones. He needs security to deal with this S. I got to tell you, I agree. Yeah, I do. I didn't like him apologizing, but truthfully, here's what happened. He took the phone, threw it down, and yeah. ESPN has too much money in him to fire him, but I don't think he needed to apologize on national TV. He's going to have to pay, though. He's going to have to. There's going to be some exchange of funds. He's going to have to probably apologize to the kid, which is ridiculous. How does a kid get away with that? That kid's name should be exposed, the one that used a gay slur. I hate that word. I do. I absolutely hate that word. Yes, I am not afraid. I will make fun of people, both gay and straight, when they go too far, but I hate that word. I think that word is angry. I think that word is incredibly angry, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't. I'm sorry. You may. I don't. And I think that kid who said that word should be taught a lesson. Maybe Kelce's not the right guy. And this radio host, John Marks, he's not wrong. He is right. He should have a security detail, and his profile is much bigger than when he was just some random center doing the tush push. But damn, I said this yesterday. Sometimes a good punch in the face straightens things out. I told you this before. I told my kids, if you're ever involved in a social media incident where you call an adult, somebody in a broadcaster, whatever, in a position of power, if you ever call them anything other than sir, ma'am, or be respectful on social media, I'm not paying for your college. I'm not paying for you to go to be stupid and be arrogant and dumb. My kids have turned out great. People that don't like me, you can suck it. One thing I do, I can raise some kids now. Probably raise your kids. Anyway, I'm getting too old for that stuff. Long story short, the radio host is right. You know, we always want to rip a radio host, but my brethren of the radio, John Marks, did a good job there. Really good. All right, a former 2019 NBA draft pick currently with the Lakers may face serious discipline. This is sad, really. As an investigation into a troubling past incident of domestic violence has been reopened, Jaxson Hayes is trending again after footage was released of police responding to a call reporting a domestic issue allegedly involving the young player. As part of his arrest in 2021, Hayes heavily resisted arrest, which resulted in a small injury to a Los Angeles police deputy. He was charged with 12 misdemeanors, including 2 counts of domestic battery. Hayes pleaded no contest to a count of false imprisonment and resisting an officer. He was sentenced to 3 years of probation, 450 hours of community service, and a year of weekly domestic violence classes. Here's the deal. Hayes, by all accounts, here's my history with Jonathan Hayes. Jaxson Hayes. Jaxson Hayes, I went and did a speech over in Cincinnati the year, probably 2019, when he got drafted. I did it for a big Catholic school that was raising money. And it was all for CYO. And people were telling me when Jaxson Hayes got drafted 2 things. What an awesome kid he was. His dad, Jonathan Hayes, played a long time as a tight end in the NFL. I remember Jonathan Hayes at Texas A&M. Don't ask me why I remember. I don't know. And then they said he couldn't play. They're like, how could that kid be drafted? Well, he was 6'10". So I've always followed Jaxson Hayes because of that night. Well, it turns out, not such a nice guy. I've always said this about domestic violence, and I want your answer if you can. What do you do after? What's your move? You know, you're 6'10", 250 pounds, whatever you are. Hell, even me, 6'5", hell, 6 foot, whatever you are, 5'10", it doesn't matter. You punch, you grab, you hit, you lock up a woman. What is your move? I'm sorry? What do you do? I can't imagine the shame. I can't imagine the embarrassment. I can't imagine the guilt that would come with that. Now, maybe people are just whacked out. Maybe that's part of their DNA, but I've always said that. And I've taught my kids and my nephews, like, what do you do after? I just want you to think about that. Yeah, you're mad. Yeah, you think you're right. But just for a second, I know it's hard. What do you do after? That's interesting. I don't have the answer, and neither do you, because there's nothing you can do after. Don't do that. And Jaxson Hayes, man, It's interesting. This came out the other day, and I was sad. I was sad for the woman. I always am. But without knowing the kid, but hearing about him at this dinner a few years ago, I always kind of rooted for him. Sad. Louisiana Monroe Warhawks assistant coach Drew the Ire. You're going to watch this. You're going to be like, what in the hell? Drew the Ire of college football fans all across the world on Saturday because of his heated incident with one of his players. His offensive line coach, Cameron Blankenship, was seen having a complete meltdown on the sideline as the team was playing the thundering herd of Marshall. Here it is. Business. School said in a statement via ESPN, there will be discipline action taken against the assistant coach. This is a personnel matter, and the discipline will be handled internally. Good. And look, I'm not saying anybody should be fired. I'm not. Part of me likes the intensity, but you can never, ever. Like in this day and age, you probably can't jump around. I remember I saw Rick Majerus when he was in Maui. I think he was playing against Indiana. I can't remember. Walk to the end of the bench and punch the water cooler. I thought, you know what? That's pretty smart. So I started always walking to the end of the bench that way. The officials were that way. So whatever you did going that way, acting like a crazy person, they couldn't hear you. I thought that's pretty smart out of Majerus. One time I did punch the water cooler against Toledo. We made a big comeback after. I'd do a damn handstand to win a game. You kidding me? Hey, this is exclusive only to OutKick. Brooks Slusher said San Jose State ruined the volleyball program by suspending assistant coach Melissa Beatty Smooze, and that members of the team no longer feel safe. This is a bit of an update from the story that we had yesterday about this same issue. Here it is. We weren't happy. We aren't happy. Don't feel safe. Melissa was that person that we felt like as long as she was there, we had someone that could stand up for us. Now there's no one that will. I don't think the school sees how much they just basically ruined the program by taking Melissa away from us. So who knows what's to come in the future with regard to what our team will do and how we will react from this. None of the coaching staff was at the meeting. It was just the players. Some man from the university sat our team down and said that coach has been put on leave, will not be back. Players were not supposed to reach out to her or speak to her at all. As of right now, tensions are very high for my team. With how angry we are at how Melissa's gone. Emotions are through the roof right now. I don't blame them, man. Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean they should be fired. To the public, they're saying that she's just pending on leave, and they don't really know what's going to happen yet. But everything that they've shown us with their actions, they have fired her. I know SJSU administrators aren't happy that she was supporting me, and she showed from the beginning that she agreed with my opinions that I've voiced and the actions that I've taken. And they weren't happy about it because obviously they decided to fully support having a man on the team and not wanting to support anyone but that one person. I think her speaking publicly finally gave them the legal reason to get rid of her. This girl is really smart because she's absolutely right. This is what universities do. Universities will say something publicly, and privately it's already a done deal. That's what I always tell you. I always tell you there is always a backstory. Not sometimes, not maybe, always. There's always a backstory, and these women, and I'm going to call them women, they're women. They're standing up. They're standing strong. They are strong, intelligent women, are standing up for their coach, their assistant coach, and I'm digging it. I am. I'm absolutely digging it. Good for them. Good for her. Everybody on the team, including the coach who has been let go, is coming out of this looking great. They're standing up. Isn't that the American way? Aren't we supposed to do that? My answer to that is hell yes. You stand up. Period. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Particularly, well, only really, if you 100% know what you are saying is right. You don't stand up just to stand up and cause a commotion. That's just phony. That's fake. These women, and I don't blame them, they want a biological male in their locker room. They don't want to see a place on a team after how hard women like my wife have fought for Title IX. They don't want to see that going away. Stop it.